Welcome to this episode on Lexan TV. Many of you may have witnessed many of the public service announcements over the past month. Full ST.A.R. Yes, take a deep breath, stop, relax, don't be too reactive, don't become too violent. Well, I'm happy to have folks representing WINDREF with me today. Now, WINDREF has been in existence since 1994, and their main mission has been to promote the health and well-being of people in the Caribbean. I have joining me today Dr. Barbara Landon and Mr. Jerry Bascom. They're going to be chatting about the ST.A.R Initiative that has been running for the past couple of months. Here is my conversation with them right now.
Hey y'all, this is Onika coming to you from the Signature Theater, last night, closing night of Black No More, and you are looking at Lexan TV!
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, and relax it. Eliminate violence.
Welcome back to this episode on Lexan TV. I am so happy to have a representation from WINDREF. I have two amazing folks with me. They've been super patient. They know exactly what I mean when I say super patient, and I'm very excited to have them here. For you, the viewers who've been following the page and everything that's been happening on Lexan TV, you would have noticed we had some really important messages via some public service announcement videos. And it's really focusing on the Spotlight Initiative. You know, just be patient. Don't get too, overly reactive. Catch your breath, breathe, and it's so important. So this morning to talk about the Saving Brains Grenada Spotlight Initiative, I have joining me today on the show, Dr. Barbara Landon. Dr. Landon is a co-founder of Saving Brains Grenada, and she's also the co-director for Caribbean Center for Child Neurodevelopment. Joining Dr. Landon this morning is a good old pal of mine. Boy, I haven't seen him in such a long time. It feels like Grenada is so big now because we're also focused on our projects. But it's good to reconnect with Mr. Jerry Bascom. Jerry is joining us as well. He is a conscious discipline coach. Lady, gent, welcome to Lexan TV. Welcome. It's a pleasure having you both here with me today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much, Lexan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, you're welcome. And if we can just get straight into things to explain the initiative, but I think the first place to start is, what is WINDREF? People hear about WINDREF. What or who is WINDREF? Either of you can answer that for me.
Well, WINDREF stands for the Windward Islands Research and Education Foundation. It's part of St. George's University. And it has a number of initiatives, mostly all around public health and well-being. But it's basically the research arm of the university. Within WINDREF, we have established, there are a number of centers of excellence, and one of them is the most recently established, which is the CCCN, which you already referred to. And the mission of the CCCN is to make sure that all children grow up with with an environment in which their brains can develop to the maximum potential.
Excellent, excellent. And that's a perfect segue to my next question. You mentioned brains. You know, we hear the term Saving Brains Grenada. Give us a little insight as to what the Saving Brains Grenada organization and movement is all about.
Well, Saving Brains Grenada. Due to research, we recognize that violence has a negative impact on the development of the brain during the first 1,000 days of life and beyond. Hence our name, Saving Brains Grenada. We aim to address and prevent harsh child rearing practices and family violence by promoting child rearing skills that increases the social emotional connection between caregiver or parent and child. The primary message is that relationship building is the central foundation to nurturing care, and that nurturing care builds resilience against mental and physical illness across the lifespan.
From, decades of research on the way the brain develops, we know so much more now than we did even 20 years ago. And we know that nurturing care that Jerry referred to is required for the brain to develop optimally, and that the brain develops the most and the fastest in the first 1,000 days of life. So, and that's when children learn violence or not. So that's when they learn that, okay, there's a conflict, there's something that somebody doesn't like, oh, we hit. So that's where the ST.A.R campaign came from, really, is stop, take a breath, be composed. There's an alternative to hitting, which is about having a relationship and wanting other people to be safe.
Yes. Well said. I like the fact that you mentioned that, that saying where they say kids are like sponges, they just soak everything up. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, ugly, that kind of thing. They just soak it up. And
Well, they do.
Pure innocence. They're not even sure what is happening, but they're taking it all in. You have to be so conscious about that, our behavioral patterns and all of that.
Yeah,
So,
but
so
they
true.
do. There's really interesting work coming out of baby labs around the world that say children actually do know right from wrong. They do know good from evil. They do know ill intention versus well intention, and they have a sense of fairness and justice. Even as young as 3 months, they can measure by, the eye gaze, how long a baby looks at a good puppet versus a bad puppet, etc. Really interesting work. But so babies know a little bit, but mostly we teach them as adults.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the Spotlight Initiative, the backstory of the Spotlight Initiative and the objective and the vision of the Spotlight Initiative.
The Spotlight Initiative is funded in large part by UNICEF and the European Union to address violence against women, girls, and children around the world. And in the Caribbean, a couple of countries have been selected, and Grenada is one of them. So you probably had other guests. I hope you have, because there's a lot of really excellent people who've been working on the Spotlight Initiative for a couple of years. Their funding cycle was ending, and they realized that they had not really worked on the public service announcement part of their message as much as they wanted to. So they asked us, because we've been working on violence against children for 10, I don't know how many years, Jerry, a lot of years.
A lot of years.
A lot of years.
Wow.
And so they asked us if we would be interested in making public service announcements. So that's where the jingle came from. That's where the ads came from. And we hope that your listeners have seen them.
Excellent. Jerry, do you have anything to add? I'm just sorry, hope I'm not putting you on the spot there.
No, that's okay. I think Dr. Lionel touched it. Yes, thanks.
Mostly everything, yeah. So the initiative, I know it's important to, everywhere globally, but why Grenada? Why Grenada? I know you just mentioned Dr. Landon just a little bit, that the folks sort of reached out based on not having the PSAs and that sort of thing in circulation. But why Grenada? Care to expound?
In Grenada, we have pretty high rates of interpersonal violence in families, gender-based violence, sexual abuse of children, fights in schools. Violence it's inextricably linked to poverty, and when people are hungry, they don't behave as well. And so there's poverty. There's also a very young population in Grenada. A large percentage of our population is under 25. And that's when we know that violence is the most dangerous, not just for the brain, but for physical and mental health.
Yes, and if I must add also that there has been some research that has showed that at least 1 in every 4 Grenadian women has suffered some form of physical violence by an intimate partner at some point in their life, ranging somewhere around 26.9%. So these are just a few of the facts to illustrate that violence in our community is common and harmful. Hence the reason for the initiative so far.
Indeed. Great initiative, by the way. Great initiative. The public service announcements, I know the whole idea of it is to put together, various scenarios, of what can happen, what can trigger, what we need to ignore, that sort of thing. Did either of you have any sort of, contributing factor to, okay, what we're going to put out there, what the content is going to entail?
We talked to a lot of stakeholders from various community service organizations, and we also talked to our conscious discipline specialists, of whom Jerry is one, and the coaches especially were like, we have to start with ST.A.R. That's only one skill to combat violence, but it's the first one. Various members of the Girl Guides, the Boy Scouts, St. Mark's Cultural Organization, different groups of people came together to really advise us on, where do you see violence that you might be able to do something about early on?
I'm sure that a lot of the cases or scenarios that popped up may have stopped you in your tracks a bit, because we're here thinking that it's just a certain group that might be reactive, but then you look at the PSAs and the scenario is you hit home with the children just playing on the beach, and someone's not winning, someone's upset, no, I don't want to play anymore, that kind of thing. So it really stops you in your tracks, because I think we need to jump in a little bit more. I have 2 girls, and the age is, there's a wide gap. My first is 18, my second is 9. And, you do have that little sibling, or the little catty fights, and you have to, I think it's important to intervene, say, listen, both of you need to figure this out. Okay, there is another way to solve this issue and to solve this problem.
I just want to make specific mention about the reason that we have chosen ST.A.R.
Yes.
Stop, take a deep breath and relax. We selected ST.A.R because ST.A.R is one of the main symbols in our national flag, as you know. Yes, and we thought that this would be a familiar emblem to Grenadian people. And because we are well aware, how much pride we take in our flag, how much pride we take in our flag. So hence the reason we use the ST.A.R, where we stop at any time, stop, take a deep breath and relax. But I must mention though that this is not supposed to happen only when, something comes up, like you're in a violent area. No, it should be practiced beforehand, like while you're here, sometimes you just practice it so that when, in case something comes up, then you have it in the toolbox so you can use it to calm yourself down when you seem to lose the upset. Because it would not be that effective if in the moment you just decide, oh, I heard about ST.A.R, so let me try ST.A.R. It's going to be tough to use at that time. So it's something that you practice so that when you're, you just lost it and you're in a terrible upset, oh, there is something simple that I can use that we've been using every day of our lives, because we breathe every day, we take it for granted, but it's free. It's something we use every day in our life, and it's something that we can just, and even again, as I'm here, I'm just going to take some time just to talk about on the breath, that deep breath, because we're accustomed to breathing normally. Somebody might mention, hey, take a ST.A.R breath, and somebody be like, yeah, but I breathe every day. What are you telling me? I breathe every day. But that ST.A.R breath that ST.A.R breath
It's different.
is, yeah. Self-regulation are the key components to effectively implementing conscious discipline. If you cannot self-regulate, you cannot maintain composure. And if you cannot maintain your composure, you cannot teach children how to. If and whenever you feel yourself losing your composure, there's one simple practice that we can do. And what's that? We can all be a star. Wow. And how can we be a star? What do? We stop, take a deep breath, and relax. One more time. We're gonna stop, smile, take a deep breath, and relax. Practice this and notice how it makes you feel.
Jerry, a little birdie told me that you also worked on something which I know we're going to share with our viewers as well, with a group, one of your groups. Tell us a little bit about that specific project that you worked on with your group as well.
Whatever they are, though, they all surround basically children and children's development. You know, I've worked for a number of years, and together with Dr. Langdon behind the scenes, I worked for a number of years with all the residential care homes on the island, working together with the residents and the caregivers, you know, and even this ST.A.R comes into place there. And as you were speaking, I just was about to mention to you that based on what happened earlier, just a few minutes ago, it went right back to ST.A.R, because I'm sure that you had to have some level of composure to calm yourself down, you know, to decide, like, you know, this is going to happen. I'm not going to just shut it off and put it off for another time. I'm going to take a breath and get at it. And here we are now, because of your composure. You know, we were composed also, so it worked. But yes, I've been working with children, as I said, in the residential care homes, in the communities. And now I've been given an opportunity to work in the schools, especially with the preschools. So that's why we come in as conscious discipline coaches, because we've been focusing on early child development, you know, where we work with the teachers and the children. And the focus is really on safety, connection, and problem solving. And, you know, we all need that in our lives. We all do need that in our lives. So, and the reason why we came up with the ST.A.R. So this is where I'm really at. And my focus is always about anything positive and anything developing with the younger generation. And now it's not only about the younger generation, because if we as adults, you know, we're the ones to really make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, right. So, yeah.
Well done, and congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Dr. Landon, you care to add anything in addition to specifically any other projects that might be in the pipeline, focusing on, you know, conscious discipline or anything of that sort?
Well, we have a lot of projects, and we're because CCCN and WINDRF are academic research centers. We're also, you know, we do the projects and then we assess whether or not those projects have been effective. Because we don't want to encourage people to implement something that doesn't show any results. For one thing, we work pretty closely with our friends at Grencase, the roving caregivers, and they are implementing conscious discipline in their home visits. We have a number of studies underway. We have come up with the very first neuropsychological measure in the Caribbean, to our knowledge, for children, called the GLAMS, the Grenada Learning and Memory Scale, and we're in the process of validating that and making sure that it really works. So it's a very brief measure of children's learning and memory. We are also working on classroom environments, so really trying to build safe schools, safe environments for teachers. In conscious discipline, we say we build a school family. Important for children who don't maybe get that safe, connected environment at home, but also important for everybody. If you want to be able to learn, you have to feel safe. If you don't feel safe, you're just going to perceive the world through a lens of threat and do whatever you need to do to survive. And I think, I mean, adolescents reach puberty so much younger now for a variety of reasons, but 100 years ago, you know, they didn't reach puberty so soon, but their brains haven't caught up yet. So, and then they become adults where they have to join an adult world, and the self-regulation abilities. So can I regulate my thoughts, my feelings, my behaviors? If I can't, I'm going to be violent, and I'm going to see the world as an unsafe place and just try to get by.
Wow.
So that's our message.
I want to
It's
take a moment
different.
with you here, Lexan. I want to take a
Yes.
moment with you right here to
Yes.
experience a ST.A.R breath, and then you give
I'm
me
ready.
some feedback as to, you know, how it feels. So the objective is to just stop whatever you're doing. So the S goes for stop, but the S also goes for smile. You know, give yourself a smile. So you stop, take a smile, and you take a deep breath into the nose. Ensure it's a belly breath. So when you inhale, you push, make an effort to push the belly out. So we pause, stop, take a deep breath in the nose, pushing the belly out. And then we just blow it out to the mouth and relax.
So I have a confession.
Yes.
It's a good one, Jerry. I think you'll be proud of me, you know, because I do practice yoga at home. So
Yes.
I think it's, you know, so I know the belly breath, and it's just so good to be mindful when you're in that space. And I love the fact that you mentioned, don't wait. Everything is preventative in life. You know, don't wait for the moment to, you know, when you have to, oh my goodness, I'm so upset, I need to breathe. You know, it should be a conscious effort where you're always doing this. It's practice on a daily basis. So
And this is the
when that pressure is applied, yeah, you know, it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling.
exactly, exactly.
Control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Cause violence don't pay. It will be best to walk away. Live to see another day. Listen what we have to say. What we have to say. Stop and take a deep breath. And relax yourself. Take another deep breath. And relax it. And relax it. We don't need no violence. We don't need no violence.
Sponsored by the Spotlight Initiative and CCCN.
Hey everyone, I'm Kirani James, and you're watching Lexan TV, where it's all about life.
I want to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath. And relax yourself. Take another deep breath. And relax it. And relax it. Eliminate violence.
Well, I want to say thank you again to Dr. Barbara Landon and Mr. Jerry Bascom for stopping by and sharing, you know, all about the excitement behind the initiative. It's a Saving Brains Grenada Spotlight Initiative. Remember to take some time and, you know, just control your reaction. It happens to the best of us. Listen, it even happens to me. So let's take some time, you know, take a deep breath. Think about the repercussions for a second and make the right decision today. Thank you again to the team for spearheading this initiative. And also, if you'd like to give back, you can also check out their social media platform. It's Saving Brains Grenada on Facebook. And also, you can connect with them on ccnd.gov today. So if you would like to become a volunteer one way or the other, please connect with them today. This is an incredible initiative. I think we all should play our part and get involved today. So remember to stop and think for a second before you react violently. right, have a great day. Take good care. Thank you again for supporting Lexan TV. That's what it's all about life. Take good care.